Good morning, 11 a.m., August 19th, 2023 on a Saturday. Let's get my screen hasn't come live yet for me to get a audio confirmation. There it is. And I have this muted so you won't hear it when I check. Yeah, there I've got an audio confirmation. We've got topics today, question and photo from Sin regarding disk management nonsense, how to create YouTube brand videos and ad managers, explore the differences between personal YouTube account and brand account, Kinder BBQ Sauce, revisit method for examining blue screen of death memory dumps, review my experiences with the 4 iPads and 1 laptop from a client that I showed last Saturday, tell you what all happened with those this week, crashes yesterday on Big Beast involving Zoom and Fortnite, Doug's high-risk adventure tomorrow. Those are the topics. And I've got this tab I'll leave open that I'll be able to switch back to more conveniently than the way I've done it in the past. Now, disclaimer, I might mute suddenly or even go off camera suddenly because last night I swallowed wrong and got fluid in my lungs and had like 2 hours of horrendous coughing, and it's still kind of got that little tickle there, you know, when you're coming off of a chest cold or pneumonia or something like that. So I might have some coughing fits during the show today. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take one right now. Kind of minor there. There's a couple people in Zoom. The Zoom session is open and available. Let's go bring up chat. Say hello to the people. Hello to the people. Robert has the first one at 4:21 a.m. my time, 9:15. William Dawson, hello from Florida. I would like topic number 3, he says, which is how to create YouTube brand channels and ad managers. Darren Gilholm, Chris Garrett mentions the barbecue sauce. Proud Mary, is that Josh's Aunt Mary? That's referring to the revised trailer, edited trailer this morning that included the Proud Mary song that includes the phrase rolling down the river. Tony Wallow with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Rick Lakes with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Rick. William, like your choice of music, Doug. Fits the trailer great. Hello, Ida, Rick, William. People saying hello to each other, giving weather reports. Rick, William, Rick, William, Rick, William. Jonathan says hello to a bunch of peoples. Tony Wallow, Drunken Troll, a.k.a. Sin. Rick Lakes, every time I see that name, I hear Offspring singing Pretty Fly. Offspring singing Pretty Fly. I don't even recognize that. Let's go see what that is. Come over here. Offspring singing Pretty Fly. There's a video, and I've got my YouTube muted, so I won't catch anything from bringing that up. I'll review that later. Let's get back here to where I was at. Brian Lightfoot, Jonathan, Rick Lakes. I got a chuckle out of this piece here. Whoops. William says, no, Rick Lake says, hi, Brian. William says, hi, Brain. Chris, CFWW, Selden Ball, Jonathan. Brian Lightfoot, Ida, Rick, Tim, Cruz, Tony Wallow. Had a beautiful day in paradise. What was this? William to Rick. Either Ken's system is haunted or the Zoom app just tried to log me into Ken's instead of Doug's. And that's from William. Yeah, William's there. Waiting patiently. Just got a notification from Tim. There's Ken Stout. Chris says, the new Logitech C920, I have 2 of them. The new one does not like this older HP all-in-one. When I open Logitech application, it does not open. You're okay. The new one. So it's only happening on the new one. Was it actually brand new, or did you buy it used? Maybe. Do you have any theories what's going on? Rand, Jeff, Jonathan, Lawn Dog. We have a curious creature looking into the camera for today's Microsoft picture of the day. Thanks for mentioning that. I was wanting to mention that. I got a chuckle out of that when I saw that this morning. Good photo, somebody. And Israel Jonathan, Chris Garrett, the big beast is in your closet. How is the keyboard and mouse hooked up? Well, keyboard and mouse are wireless. Could have guessed that. They are wireless by virtue of a USB extension that I can't quite pick it all the way up over here. It looks like it's trying to get into the frame a little bit. Yeah, it's on there's a USB cable wrapped around the wall of the room, comes all the way up here to the desk, because when the transceiver's over there, it's not good enough. Sorry, Doug, bouncing around your seat there. Tim Cruz with the $1 super chat. Thank you, Tim. Celebrate the first super chat. Oh, that's the first time Tim has done a super chat. I think that's the first time he's done it anywhere. Gets a number 1, because I don't think you get that the first time you do a super chat on any channel. This is the first time I've seen that. Hang on. Yikes. John Williams. Are you concerned about a hurricane that could affect your state? No, I'm not. Sounds like it's not going to. Dennis has been giving me updates on that. Doesn't sound like it's going to affect Fresno too much. It's sad for the people in parts of the state that are going to be affected by it, but I don't have any personal circumstances that I'm concerned about, not with me or any family members that I know of. Morning, Doug. Just got up and having first cup of coffee. 80 degrees in Maryland. Hello, Greg. Greg M. Also, Speedy C. Lawn Dog. I'll be here, though. I'm facing death, possibly with a hurricane coming into California. Ouch. For Lawn Dog. My digital assistant keeps scaring me with the warnings. Let's catch up a little bit here. Stop scrolling, Doug. You know better. Almost every year, so stay safe. From Ida. Have you thought about bugging out? Jim, hello. Got in the door. Catching up. Photo submitted by Tim. Ken Stout is Tim S. Photo submitted by Tim S. Tim Stout? Is that what he's referring to? I'll go see if I got a new email. No. Oh, he's suggesting that desktop photo was submitted by Tim Sowell. Yeah. All people, I live in the desert, but I'm not scared. Typically, the desert floods. At least I think we were prepared because they have been fixing the flooding areas in the summer. That's 11:05. I'm not too far behind. Some more conversations about the weather. Tim says, yes, that's correct. First time he's ever done a super chat. Thank you. I feel honored that I'm your first. Ida, sometimes the rain is worse than the wind, and our major disasters have been flooding after hurricanes. Chris, it's brand new. I have the old Logitech C15 hooked up. I removed the new Logitech program and drivers. That's a reasonable thing to do. Remove all the drivers and program and reinstall them. Yeah, the winds are something to be concerned about. Living desert empire, the water can be just as bad, and it's hard to get home sometimes if you're out in the world. I'm going to skip through some. All right, looks like I'm all caught up. Let's go bring in Zoom. So, people in Zoom, I'm about to bring you in. Be prepared to mute whatever you need to mute. I'm going to start with turning on my video, and then in Zoom I'll turn on my microphone, so you should be hearing me through Zoom now, and you can mute your YouTube audio. The YouTube audience is not hearing you yet. I'm about to change that so that they can hear you. Set the audio same as system, and then unmute in XSplit for Zoom, and then punch the button. Hello. Hi, Brian.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to William Dawson.
Hello.
Yeah. I think notice my Zoom camera is a little more zoomed in than normal, I think. I'm not sure. It looked a little weird. I had some struggles with Zoom recently.
We'll step back. Take a step back. There you go.
All right, now you can't
Problem-
hear me as well.
problem solved.
I have to yell and shout. No, I was not doing the normal volume. This is the normal volume back this far away, and I get up closer and you're going to hear me better. But it's a comfortable framing, so that's fine. It just didn't look normal to me. All right. So, do you gentlemen have any topics to request off of that list or anything else?
Like I said, that topic number 3 looked interesting.
All right, let's go start with that one then. And get back to that tab. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one more thing here. Not only am I going to keep this on this tab, but I'm going to pull this tab away from the other tabs. That way when I do Alt-Tab, I'll be able to find it easier. Because when I do Alt-Tab, if I have another tab selected in this implementation of the browser, then when I do Alt-Tab, I won't be able to see this topics. But when I have it set up as its own window, I'll be able to find it with Alt-Tab. That will make things easier for the confused Doug. Number 3, how to create YouTube brand channels and managers. We took a little look at that yesterday, and I didn't know my way around. So after the show yesterday, I came back and worked on that a little bit more. And you don't get to there from here. You can't get there from here. It is, let's see if I remember this right, youtube.com/channels, brand. Well, I saved it as a, save it over here. What did I do? I saved it on Windows Daily, I think. Is that where I did it for today's show? Brand account. Yeah, youtube.com/account. So you go to a new tab, youtube.com/account. I don't see any way to get to this screen from your normal YouTube studio or your button over here. Well, now look at this. I'm on the wrong channel. That's Grandpa Doug Learns Fortnite with the G. Let's switch that to this account. Now I'm still on youtube.com/account. And scroll down here, add or manage your channels. Click on that one. And then here we have all of my channels, and here we have a plus sign. So this is for creating another channel, and this is what's referred to as a brand channel. So what kind of a channel am I going to make? Ken the Stout. Should I call it Stoutly or Stout? I'm creating my own channel, a sub-channel, a brand channel called Ken the Stout within my family of channels. This channel does not exist. Well, we're creating it. Here I got a letter K for it. I could click on the plus sign here and upload a video or go live with it. Let's go upload a, let's see, I'll go take that Rancheria Rolling Down the River video and upload it to that channel. So that is currently uploading. And I'm switched to that channel now. I should make sure that I'm still streaming okay. Then click next. Let's say this is not made for kids. Then next. And next. Introducing checks. And close that. It's going to check for copyright issues, and it's going to find them. I'll call that a public. So it would be searchable. So once I create this here, you guys should be able to go search for that channel and find it. Continue. So here this is uploading. It's not actually published yet. But Ken the Stout, the channel should be published. You should be able to find that. Now, if I go back here to this managing, channel status and features, add or manager channel, here, add remove managers. So I can click on this, add remove managers. And this is on the Grandpa Doug Learns Fortnite, so I need to switch that. I want to get away from that. I want to get back to this new channel that I just created and make somebody a manager. So here's the Ken the Stout brand account. And see, I think that's the first time we saw the word brand account, isn't it? Limited to YouTube. Now, I have not created an email address for this. I can access this because it's one of my brand channels under my personal Google account. I have access to it through my personal Google account. I can add other managers to this, and they would have access to it on their personal YouTube account. Google account, YouTube account, kind of the same thing, not entirely the same thing.
Did we lose volume?
Yep.
Oh, there we go. He's turning the button on when he coughs and off when he's done coughing.
Oh, geez. All right. Now am I right?
Yes.
Yep.
How long was I off?
Just 5 seconds or so. No problem.
Not long. Okay. I have seen that where I press the button on the Stream Deck to unmute and it doesn't work. So I got to be careful to keep watching the sound indicator, the mixer volume. Oh boy.
Hello. Okay, it's working.
Okay, did I unmute successfully? Somebody came in. Chris Garrett, hello. I heard you say hello, then I think you
Hello.
went away. Yeah.
Hello, I'm here.
All right. So let me try this again. This sent a confirmation. It wants me to open the Gmail app on my iPhone, and then it's got the number 40 there. So on my iPhone, it shows up with this screen that's got some items there you can barely see. It's asking no, don't allow, or yes, it's me. So I touch yes, it's me, and then it gives me 3 numbers, and I have to touch the correct number based upon what is shown on this screen. Just another form of kind of a 2-factor authentication, I guess we'll call it. So now, anytime I go trying to manage the permissions on any of my brand accounts or my main personal account, it will ask me this. I got to breathe in slowly to avoid coughing. Manage permissions, and then there's a plus sign up here. Add names or email addresses. So Ken does allow his email address. It is, what is it, Ken Stout Live something or other, yada yada yada. I'll go look that up with the Zoom 00. Go looking at that address. There it is. K Stout. Nope, that's not the one. Where's the other one? Well, actually, I think I have to use the one that he actually logs in to YouTube with, and that's probably not the one that has the Zoom with zeros. So I'm going to try using his Gmail address, but I'm not going to expose it to the audience. Get back to this over here. Oh, I was on another browser instance. Was I? Oh, no, I was over here. Oh, it showed up here, Ken Stout. All right, so I had typed in the word Ken and it showed him up, I guess. But these other ones aren't Ken. And there's no invite. Why is there no invite? That didn't work. All right, I'm taking that off screen again. Gonna try his email address. Oh, I have to choose a role. All right. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah, okay, I can show it this way. So there I got Ken Stout the way that I just showed it to you when it showed up in that drop list. And then I have to choose a role, and I'll call him a manager, and then invite him. So he has to accept that invitation before he becomes a manager, but then he's a manager for that brand channel. He can upload videos, he can edit them, he can manage that channel. He can do live streams, I'm pretty sure. So that is brand accounts. Okay, did I unmute successfully? Yes. All right, comments, questions, thoughts? Zoom, you are on screen now.
It'd be interesting to try it on the Princess Camp.
Oh, yeah, so you set up your Princess Cam, which for people who don't know, it's a separate channel for live streaming your dog, right?
No, it's
No, what is
actually a view of the street out front.
Oh, view of the street out front. Okay. And
From a cat's eye view.
is that on your William Dawson channel?
Yep.
Okay, so you could create a brand account. It's essentially a sub channel. There's no separate credentials for it. And you just switch to that channel when you want to live stream that content. So that's a particularly good way when you want, like for Ken Stout, for instance, his normal content is you guys doing the Zoom sessions at night. He could set up a separate brand account for his DaVinci Resolve content. He could set up a separate brand account for his golf episodes. Then that way YouTube doesn't get confused about what is your channel about. Because if you keep your channel on some kind of well-defined topic, then YouTube is going to try to offer your videos to people that YouTube thinks would enjoy that type of content. All right.
People seem to enjoy the pictures of cars going by on roads and that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of live streams of just cameras out on streets, even publicly available cameras, and that just live stream 24/7.
YouTube won't be confused, but Doug will still be confused.
That's my objective, so of course I will.
Well, I got the question, why does YouTube call it a brand account? Where does the word brand figure into the equation?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked it because I need to show some more information about that topic, because a brand account you can do different things with that you can't do with a personal account. So let's go see if I can quickly find where to go for that. I'm going back to that screen. Let's see. Get back to the link that I had stored for it, and I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. All right, here at this URL, youtube.com/account, a brand account has different characteristics. Well, the most significant to begin with is there is no specific email and password associated with it. You don't log into YouTube with a specific email address and a password to get to that brand account. You sign into your own YouTube account, which is one synonymous with your Google account. It's just so when we say the word YouTube account, that's a different package of services and features than your Google account. So you sign into your personal Google account and then, aka YouTube account, and then over here on the right hand side, you can switch account to one of your other brand channels. Now this brand channel, Meandering Man at 70, I don't own that, but I'm a manager of that. That is owned by my brother Stan. There is no username, email address, and password to log in directly to that account. Yesterday during Windows Daily, you saw that Google actually logged me out. I had to re-log in during the live stream, and it logged me into my personal account. This is the account that is associated with my Google email address. Once I log into that, I then had to switch to this brand account. A brand account you can add managers for. I don't think you can add managers for your personal account. And part of that is we can see here when I'm on these accounts, if I go to add or manage your account, when I click on that, here is my personal account. I'm going to click into that, take it off screen for a moment, and see what that does. Okay, that takes me straight to here. There's nothing here about being able to add managers. If I click my browser back button, go to add or manage your channels, and go to one of my brand accounts, that, it took me here too. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This was weird. See, I was thinking that I could go in here to manage it because this option says add or manage. No, the only thing you can do here is add a channel, or I think perhaps delete it. I don't even see delete here. No, I think all you're doing here is adding them, because when you click on one of these, it takes you to here where there's just videos being suggested for that channel. But what you have to do if you want to add managers, come down here and scroll down to channel managers. See, this is strange wording here. I would have thought manage your channel, you could add managers there. No, you got to come down to here. Add or remove managers. And then you can manage permissions. Let's go back one level. Here's your brand accounts. Notice here my personal account is not in this list. These are brand accounts. If I click into here, I can manage permissions. I could delete the account from here. If I click on manage permissions, this is where I can, I was going to say where I can add more managers. No, it's not. I've found myself going in circles every time I come into this area, frankly. You can, if you were going to sell a brand account, you could transfer it to somebody else so that they become the owner. You can't transfer your personal account unless you give somebody the credentials for the Google account that's associated with it. Brand account details. Let's go back. Your brand accounts. Oh, this is interesting. See how those two say limited to YouTube? Live Windows Training does not say limited to YouTube. Now, it might be because, what is that, also a Google brand account? Delete account, manage, learn about brand accounts, view general account info, view account profile. So there's got to be more things we can do in. Oh, this is giving us help information. Historically, brand accounts could be used with a variety of Google services. Starting August 4th, 2021, brand accounts can only be linked to YouTube channels and will be designated with limited to YouTube. So that's why I have that designation of limited to YouTube, because my live Windows training, I started that before August 4th, 2021. This update will not impact existing brand accounts, only accounts that are created after August 4th, 2021. Here's how brand accounts differ from regular Google accounts. That'll certainly give a better description than what I can say off the top of my head because I haven't studied it. You and others can jointly manage a brand account through your own Google accounts. You won't need a separate username or password. Your account can have multiple owners and managers, so multiple owners. Oh yes, when we saw that's how you would sell it. Remember when we went to add Ken Stout as a manager, I could have added him as an owner. So if I add him as an owner and then he removes me as an owner, that would be how you transfer the account to somebody else. Essentially how you sell a YouTube account, whether there's money exchanged or not. Owners can take the most actions and control who manages the account. An account must have one primary owner. Community managers can do the same things as managers, but they can't use YouTube. Now this piece about primary owner, I bet that has something to do with transferring ownership. So let's see if we can transfer ownership of this account to Ken Stout. If I come to, let's see, manage permissions for Ken the Stout, it came right back to the same screen, didn't it?
Yep.
Oh, I clicked it again and it came into here. So if I can make him primary owner. All right. So if I make him owner, make Ken Stout an owner, as an account owner, Ken Stout can add and delete other owners and managers, change account permissions, including yours, including mine, and he can delete the account completely. So I can make him an owner, and then I could come down here and make him the primary owner. Make Ken Stout the primary owner, add and delete other owners and managers, change account permissions, delete this account completely. As primary owner, Ken Stout. So was there something added here beyond? Those look like the same options that I had a moment ago. Well, you guys, somebody can rewind the video and tell me if these are the same exact options. So here I'm transferring ownership, primary ownership, to Ken Stout. Now, mine still shows primary owner. I did do that, right? Transfer. Maybe he has to accept that. You see, it's still showing me as a primary owner, so maybe he has to accept that before that happens. And go catch up with chat. You'll have to zoom your Zoom if you stay back. Topic number 3, we've already done. Chris Garrett, 30 years ago, I had a business trip to go to Utah. I had a late night dinner, particular gully. It started to rain. I had no idea going to be there most of the night with the restaurant, a few people that were there. Jonathan, Chris, let's see. I have a Logitech wireless keyboard and mouse, but it does not work very well. And that's Chris Garrett. Were you making reference there to your camera problem? He might be away from the microphone. He's muted currently. The guy Ken Stout, Speedy C. Topic 7 and 8 from Speedy C. Click your avatar, scroll down to settings. First item is account. Okay, so is this another way to get to that? Avatar settings, first item is account. Let's go to here for that. Avatar, let's see, I need to switch this to the right account because this also is on the wrong one. Avatar, scroll down to settings and then account. Oh yeah, this is the same. This is the same screen. Thank you for pointing that out. Well, that seemed pretty easy to get there. Why didn't I find that when I was previously trying to find it? avatar settings, account, and then add remove managers. Yeah, that's pretty simple. I need to get back to the video for the current live stream. Get to it over here. Back to chat. So that was Rand Israel. Thank you. Rick asking if I'm okay. So all we get are the costs. Yeah, there you go. See, John Ken, I be 64. John, I think I'm older than you. John, 67. Do you need to choose a role? Yes, that's when I was missing that piece. Ken Stout did accept the manager role. Tim says, cool, interesting. Still hearing static. That was back a while ago. Does my fish channel count? Now I don't know how you did your fish channel account. Did you do it as a brand channel, or did you set it up under a different email address? If you click on your movies on your subscriptions feed, for example, it will say that your movie library isn't available on your brand account. Oh, all right. If you click on your movies on your subscriptions feed, so I'm on a brand account now. I should go to a different page. If I go to, let's see, your channel, and then movies. I don't even know where that's at. Your movies and TV. Purchases are unavailable. So I can't purchase videos when I have my brand account active. I'd have to go back to my personal account. So let's see, go back here to switch account, and then I'll click on this one. I'm going to take that off screen as it goes to that. Oh, that's interesting. I had no idea what it took. It took me straight to movies and TV. Purchase Blue A Secret Life. I have no idea what that is. Pay to watch. I don't recollect what that is at all. So I can't get to movies and TV on a brand account. Oh, then when I clicked on free, here's what I get. Action Adventure. Hunger Games, I recall. And Breakpoint, I recall. Game of Shadows, I recall. So these are all apparently free movies. These were probably associated with my grandson. All right.
That would also prevent any managers of your brand accounts from going in and buying movies that are going to be charged against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Doug, if you have a channel on YouTube that is live, like Watching Your Neighborhood, stopped, is it being recorded by YouTube in such a way that you can search back in time? Remember, it's live. I don't know how that works. Hang on. Do you guys in Zoom still hear me when I cough?
No.
No.
All right. I didn't know if that Stream Deck mute was muting you on Zoom as well. So what was this question again? If you have a channel on YouTube that is live, like Watching Your Neighborhood, stopped, Is it being recorded by YouTube in such a way that you can search back in time? Remember, it's live. You would have to have DVR mode turned on. If you have DVR mode turned on, you should be able to pull the slider back, just like any live show. But if you leave it running live, does it stop every 24 hours? So that's a separate live video. I guess we could answer that by going to a 24/7 live show and seeing what is shown in their live videos content. All right, I got an idea how to try that because I'm curious about that. So here I go to YouTube, and then I'm going to just type the word live and press enter, and then click on filters over here and do features live, so that I only get live shows, and then look for something that's like a 24/7 surveillance camera or something. Live tracker hurricane. I'm looking for some kind of a street webcam. NASA. That sounds like that would be 24/7, would it? Can we go back in time? Yes, we can. We can go back, looks like 12 hours. If I go look at their videos on their channel, click live. Streamed 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 24 hours, an hour 59. Yeah, those aren't a lot of hours, so that doesn't really tell me.
Princess Cam will get you exactly.
Princess
there.
Cam? All
Yeah.
right.
It's active right now.
Now I'm searching Princess Cam. Oh, here it is. It came up. Now, let's see. That goes back 12 hours. And then if I go look at his prior lives, 8 days ago, 2 weeks ago. These are all short lives. There's nothing there with a lot of hours.
Those are ones that updates and that kicked off the streaming computer.
But do you keep that running 24/7?
Yeah.
So why don't I see other? How come the prior video is 8 days ago? That would imply that maybe that's what this is doing. Maybe it's doing a 12-hour loop. See, it goes back 12 hours. So 10 minutes from now, if it still goes back 12 hours, that would indicate it's a that would indicate it's a 12-hour running loop. So maybe that's what it does. It's been running more than 12 hours right now, right? Well,
Yeah, that's the latest loop's been running.
Yeah. So I would think you probably have to stop that live in order to get it stored as a live stream. Has it actually been running 24/7 for like 7 days?
Yeah, so far it's been up 192 hours, 20 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Okay, so that's what's going on. It doesn't get saved as a separate live unless you stop it every 12 hours if you want to have all of them searchable. And then the search is going to be based upon this listing here of how long ago the stream was. If you stop it every 12 hours, then you should be seeing something that says streamed 1 day ago. You would see 2 of them. You should see 2 of them for streamed 2 days ago, 2 of them for streamed 3 days ago, something like that is my deduction. Scroll back in the live. What happens when it's several days long? I think we just might have the answer to that. Now, William, if you will test that for us, if you can, you probably don't want to bother with stopping it every 12 hours, but you could do something.
I could start recording, but where's it saved to? YouTube?
Well, it saves to your channel. It saves right here. You don't have to do anything to save it. All you have to do is stop the live stream and then start it again right away. And that should make it a separate video on your live
Okay.
section.
We're going to stop the screen now.
All right.
Yes. Okay, it's been stopped.
Okay, I see a refresh circle indicating that it's buffering, waiting for you to start again.
Okay.
Now, this stream isn't going to start again because this has its own URL, but
Right.
that should cause it to show up on your
Okay.
live panel here as something that was streamed minutes ago. I'm going to refresh your panel here.
And create broadcast and start streaming.
Yeah, okay, so you've already started a new one?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll refresh this again. We should see one show up here. Now, it takes, we know that when we do a live stream and we end a live stream, YouTube does some processing on that before it becomes available. So it could be a while before this becomes available. If I click on this live right here, I think that's going to try to take me to the one that you stopped. Yes, this live stream recording is not available, and which makes me think that YouTube is processing it right now, but I think it will become available. Although it's possible, since you had that running continually for more than 12 hours, YouTube might discard it because you had that running for whatever 100 hours you said. That might exceed the length of the live stream that YouTube will retain. Maybe, yeah, that could be an issue. We'll find
Okay,
out.
we know this one's been recording for a few minutes.
Ah, here it is. No, that one that you just ended shows up now with 192 hours,
No.
and it has 15 views. So that answers that. Now, I don't see your current live stream yet. Let me try refreshing again. Yeah, here it is. Here's your new live stream. So 192 hours. Yikes. 2 minutes ago. So this designation here is telling us when that live stream ended.
Let's watch it all right now.
Yeah, sure. And this one has about 2 minutes into it now. All right. I bet you didn't know we would wind up doing that with your Princess Cam today.
No.
Could be very low in the background. Thought I was going crazy. Sounds like more fan noise. Are you hearing fan noise on my stream? Because I have my graphics fan behind me. It's kind of loud. Just now I said that Ken has to be manager for 7 days before it will change primary ownership. Ah, all right. That probably showed up on the screen somewhere that I missed. I have no idea on the details of the fish channel. Please hold. For live channel, Wintermute says, see, William Dawson One Fish RM channels for live channels goes back 12 hours. Interesting. Ken the Stout does show up on my list of channels to switch to. Still researching branded accounts. Please continue to hold. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I have to stop talking. We'll wait for Ken to come back. I guess, Doug, when I was getting at was the possibility, as weird as it would be, to use YouTube as a storage device for live security reasons. Oh, sure. In fact, you could, Lawn Dog, do a live stream and make it unlisted or make it private. Unlisted means that nobody other than channel owners or managers can find the video, or people that you give the URL to, that you give the link to. They could watch the video, but they can't go search your channel and find unlisted videos. If you do a live stream as private, that means even with the URL, nobody else can go watch those videos. So if you're doing it for security reasons, I would think you might want to do it as private. That's an interesting idea. It seems like they should object to that. I kind of thought there's a limit of time that live broadcast can be done. Yeah, it's pretty high if there is. DW News runs 24/7, sometimes for more than a month, but scroll back only works 12 hours. So yeah, scroll back during the live stream only works 12 hours, but if they stop the live stream every 12 hours, then you can go back and watch them on their channel. 12-hour DVR. Tim says he does hear it, so he does hear my fan. Let me see if I've got a setting wrong there, because that should be on a yeah, I have noise suppression turned on. I'll go back and listen to the video later to see how much that is. Thanks for the reminder about private channel. I didn't think of that. It's not private channel, it's private video. $11.50. Oh, that is caught up. All right. Other topics. We're in the, oh, yeah, there were other topics requested. I'll go back and find those. I think somebody was saying like 7. Search for the, oh no, 7's going to show up every time there was a 7 in the time. And temperature, where was the other request? I'll take that off screen. Zoom, you're on screen again. See if I search the word topic. Oh, that's a way to do it. Okay, I'm back to chat. Topic 7 and 8. So Alt-Tab, I should be able to get back to that topics list because it's in a separate instance of the browser. He said 7 and 8. Review my experience with 4 iPads and crashes yesterday. Okay, good. The 4 iPads from last, that I showed you last Saturday, they're still here. And the laptop is still here. But the experiences to tell you about, I think, were interesting. Last Saturday we talked about, and Jim pointed out about, you can transfer from one iPad to another with just having them next to each other, and they transfers for Bluetooth, or you can do backup and restore backup to the iCloud. The thing that was interesting is I had two old iPads and 2 new iPads. I might have just used the word laptops incorrectly because these are iPads I'm talking about now. The laptop is a separate story. Let me see if I can get back. Yeah, so here I'm going to read a time slip. I can't bring it up on screen because it has some client specific information. I had a time charge from 3 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Labeled iPads. Perform Bluetooth and Wi-Fi transfer from B's old laptop. That's the letter B I'm using for his name. B's old, not laptop, iPad. iOS 15.7.7. So I'm going to use iOS version numbers. Version of the operating system. His old iPad was version 15.7.7. To the new iPad, iOS version 16.4.1. So 15.77 to 16.4.1. That Bluetooth Wi-Fi transfer worked. Now it has to be connected to my Wi-Fi internet, and it has to have Bluetooth on, so the devices talk to each other through Bluetooth while they're both connected to my Wi-Fi. So that's why I listed that as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Performed iCloud backup and restore from H's, letter H, old iPad iOS 10 15.3.4 to new iPad iOS 16.5. So the new iPads, one of them had 16.4.1, the other one had 16.5. The old iPads, the first one was 15.7.7, the second one was 10.3.4. So to do the Bluetooth Wi-Fi transfer, it has to be at least, I think it was version 11, iOS 11 or above. I think that's where it might have been 12, I'm not sure what the number was. But the first iPad was qualified, the second iPad wasn't, so I had to do the iCloud backup and restore for the second one. Then performed iOS update on both new iPads to iOS version 16.6 because they were both already out of date just by a little bit. Anomalies noticed. H's iPad, both old and new, indicate there are apps that were acquired using the Apple account of B. So the second iPad had some apps installed that were installed using the Apple account for the first person. And in order to get those activated on the new iPad, I was going to have to sign in using the first person's credentials. So I call him, ask him for his Apple credentials. He doesn't know. He tries reading me some Verizon, I think it was an IMEI number, thinking that that's what I want. So he couldn't come up with his Apple account at all. And then he also told me that he thought that would be because he might have installed some of his purchased music on his wife's iPad. Turned out that was not the case because her old iPad, I went and checked, didn't have any music on it. I asked her about it. No, she doesn't play that music. And then I found that there was, on the second iPad, there was a Pandora app that was purchased using that first person's Apple account. Then I found there were a total of 33 apps on the second iPad that had been purchased, but in order to find out which account they were purchased on, I had to go into each one of those apps separately and check to see what account it was registered under. I think, oh, this is going to be a nuisance. And I still don't have the credentials. Okay, so I didn't make a note in here on the time slip. I did find his credentials. I went back through my records. I have two sets of records for this client. One for his home environment, which involves him and his wife, and one for his business environment, which originally included his original iPad because that was before I began separate records for his home environment. And he has two home environments. He has laptops in each environment for each of them. He has some personal accounts. He has some business accounts. He uses his business accounts for some personal stuff. Anyway, I found his original Apple credentials in my business records for him. So I accomplished the work that I needed for that. And then I subsequently was in a conversation with him and I told him what those credentials are. And he says, oh, those are the credentials for my iTunes. Hang on. Those are the credentials for my iTunes account. iTunes is Apple. So his iTunes credentials is his Apple credentials. So he knew that all along. If I had the presence of mind to ask him, do you know what your iTunes credentials are? Then he would have just given me that and saved me a lot of time searching for that information. Because when I go to his business records and search for that, there's several other people in that office that consist of attorneys who are partners to each other, and they all have their own accounts. Fun times, fun times. Let's see. Then H's Apple ID account credentials worked for restoring the iCloud backup to the new iPad, but did not work for viewing the Apple Store account. However, the account appears to be working with H's Apple ID. It was a crazy mixed up mess. I'm going to get that time slip off screen so that I don't accidentally expose that. And then the laptop. The laptop with this swollen battery, I think I showed this the other day. That's the swollen battery that I replaced. Last Saturday I showed you that I held the laptop up to the screen so you could see how bowed the lid was, and it was really easy. One of the easiest laptops to do because there's just like 5 screws on the bottom of it. None of those plastic tabs. It just comes off. Remove the screws for the battery, remove the plug, and put the new battery in. Easy peasy.
Was there a date on that battery? I'm interested in how old the battery was.
Looking.
And if it was an OEM or a third party?
FRU part number 01YU911. It kind of looked like a date to me, but I don't think so. I think I have records of when he bought these, because he bought 4 of these Lenovo laptops at the same time. One for he and his wife in their vacation home, and one for them in their Fresno home. I said vacation because it's not really vacations. They'll go there and live for 2 or 3 weeks and then come back here for whatever number of weeks, and it's erratic. It's not on a regular schedule like some of the other second homes that I've talked about. So for me to go see, I'm going to pull up on another screen for those laptops, because when I set up new computers for clients, that typically means creating a new page in their records in OneNote, and includes dates. No, oh, that's the wrong file. Now then, search Lenovo in this file. New laptops 2019. May of 2019 is when I set up those 4 new laptops. So, a little over 4 years. A little over 4 years. All right, then close that so I don't accidentally expose it. Back to chat. Let's see, that was Speedy C asking for topics 7 and 8. 8 was crashes yesterday on Big Beast build. Zoom in Fortnite. After I put that in as a topic, I realized I kind of misstated that a little bit. The issue with Fortnite, I don't think was a Big Beast build at all. That was Thursday evening. I went into Fortnite to play some solo games, and 3 times in a row, it only got 2 minutes into the game, and then Fortnite gave me an error message. It said, sorry, we ran into a problem. Big Beast build did not lock up, did not blue screen. It just, Fortnite kicked me out 3 times in a row. And I was concerned, is this something with my computer? And then on Friday morning, I did the live streams with Dennis, and it worked fine. We didn't have any trouble. When I put this topic in the list of topics, this morning I think it was, maybe yesterday, I didn't realize that I'd already played games since those troubles. So I don't think the Fortnite issue was with Big Beast Build. However, Zoom last night in my Friday evening Zoom session with my brothers, I had lockups with Big Beast Build. I did not get a blue screen error. What happened is when I did this action multiple times, every time, it froze the computer up. I could not get to Task Manager. The Zoom session video just froze in place. I couldn't move the mouse. I couldn't get keyboard response at all. The only thing I could do was hold down the power button on Big Beast, force it off. So I sent text message to my brothers telling them I had to restart, and Big Beast came back up. I opened up Zoom and I went to change the feature that I had just turned on in order to disable it, because I thought that feature was caused the problem. And as soon as I got to the screen to change that, it locked up again. Same thing, had to force the power off, restart it, did a second restart, because when you start the computer up after any kind of a lockup, that's not safe to go ahead and work. You should restart it again so the computer gets a full normal restart before you rely on it. So I started doing second restarts, and I did that cycle like 3 or 4 times. Could not get it working. So then I started to go join the Zoom session on my phone, and then I realized, no, I can use Baby Beast because I've got a webcam there. So I connected to them on Baby Beast and finished our session. Then after it was over with, I went to troubleshooting the issue and trying to figure out what's going on. Now, I haven't told you yet what did I do that caused the problem. What I did is I went into the Zoom video settings and turned on the blur. That's all, just blur the background. And I saw my camera show up with a blurred background and myself not blurred. And that lasted for about half of 1 second. And then everything locked up. So after restarting, going back into Zoom, I tried to go turn off the blur. And every time you go into that screen, it shows the image. It shows the current image with the blur. So every time that came up with that blur, the computer locked up. I went Google searching, trying to find where can I delete the configuration file for Zoom to just make it go back to default settings. Could not find that. What I wound up doing was uninstall Zoom and then reinstall, and it was back to default settings, and I could fix it. Since then, I have not tried blurring the background. As a different way of ending the live stream today,
We're going to blur the background.
blur the background, see if it crashes, or if it locks up Big Beast Build and freezes the stream. And if I have the live stream chat window up on Baby Beast, I can let you know. I can't imagine that it would destroy the live stream, meaning it should be able to save what we've done up to that point so I don't lose everything that we've done. And I don't know what happens to the recording in XSplit when the computer locks up. Okay. So that was topic number 8. I had also tried disconnecting the webcam, and that did not let me get back into Zoom because the background is still there. It's still blur. The blur configuration is still present. All right, where are we at? Such a Doug, let's see, cost, choose a role, details fish channel, here's some stuff about iPad. Let's see, here's something. Lawn dog to Ida. I was considering purchasing a camera put in front of my house, somewhat hidden, just record some of the things that occasionally go on as people walk by. Your neighbors, people walking by, could get really upset about that. If they discover that you've put their images of them on YouTube, they could really get upset with you about that. I don't think it's illegal, but I've heard people getting upset about that kind of thing. There comes a lot for the elephant. They left. Okay, that I guess they're talking about the Ida's elephant cam that she's told us about and shown us. Those iPads should be backing up to iCloud in case they pack it in. Good point. And the iCloud backup was not enabled on their old ones. I will, when I give them back to them, I will leave those enabled so they periodically back up. But I was surprised to see that the default was set to use their cellular for backing up to iCloud. I think I'm going to turn that off so it just uses their Wi-Fi, because they are very often in Wi-Fi range. Remember all those years we listened to Leo Port, and he tells us how safe modern batteries and chargers in the circuits in these products are so well designed and safe that he pretty much tells us you should leave your charger plugged in all the time, if I remember correctly. But the point being, look at what we're seeing here. And Doug said that it's not the first that has happened, I think on the same model. I haven't checked on this with my clients, but my recollection, I think, particularly on the first Lenovo, his habit is to unplug it, let the battery charge down, and then plug it back in to come back up. I think that is more harmful to the battery, because batteries get hot as they are discharging or charging. If you keep them plugged in, they never go through the experience of discharging very much, so they're not going to generate heat. Now, this is just my deduction in theory, but I'm inclined to keep laptops plugged in and only use them when I need the battery usage.
You almost never discharge that lithium-ion battery fully.
Yeah, that is another thing. As I've heard the recommendation on on rechargeable batteries, don't run them all the way down, but run them down to maybe 20-30%, bring them up to 70 or 80%, and if they just keep going up and down in that range, that I've heard that is healthier on them. But that's a lot of work. That you've got to, be paying attention to catch it at those right times. So I prefer to just leave it plugged in, because when I'm using a laptop, I'm typically stationary at a desk for a period of time.
Yeah, most of the time a charger is going to limit to a certain percentage anyways.
I don't think he's doing the show anymore. Rich DeMero, he does. Last I knew, Leo was still doing his Sunday call-in show, because that's a radio show, and YouTube and wherever else he publishes it. But principally, it's on radio that he's been doing for a long, long time. Well, batteries will be more prone to catch on fire, of course, if they have a charge on them. I don't know that that's true. If they're totally depleted, what use are they? And because they get heat, they get hot with discharging and charging, I would think if you leave them plugged in, they're less likely. But again, I don't know. You know who would have been the best all-time replacement for Leo? Padre SJ. I had cameras like that, and you'd be amazed. Recorded someone breaking a window in my neighbor's house, a snake coming out of the garden, my son's car being stolen. Wow. Yeah, that was video. Yeah, the blurring. He was asking. There was the correct choice from Tim. Uninstall Zoom and reinstall it. Fixed it. I wonder if there's a way you can report this to whoever software you think is the root of the problem. There may be a bug. I don't know if a short video kind of screenshot would be the way to present the issue. I would not take my time to help them with their faulty product. I can't afford to be free technical support for manufacturers of software that are making money where I'm not getting paid for it. I had an issue with Messenger yesterday with video call messed up, and every time I tried to ring, I wouldn't, unfortunately, but there was a new update for it and it fixed it. By the way, you're looking at the chat on your other account of Fortnite. That was a while ago. Well, not long ago. Oh, back here in the background. I still have Fortnite. Oh, I see. Yeah. When I changed to a different account on one browser tab, that doesn't change it on the other browser tabs. Doug, thank you. You just made another wise point about uploading video footage to YouTube. I hope I would have thought of that at some point once I've traversed these steps. When batteries are charging, and I'm talking about lithium-ion, if the current is appropriate to charge them, warmth isn't a problem. It's the way charging works. Yeah, but what wears them out? Something, it's appropriate to use them in laptops. It's appropriate to charge them. It's appropriate to discharge them. But eventually, this happens. What behaviors on a laptop is going to make this happen sooner? And I would think charging and discharging cycles would be part of that. But I don't know. When I accidentally left my Samsung phone plugged in for 2 days, it complained and urged me to configure it not to charge any more than 85%. Leaving a laptop plugged in all the time, what happens is trickle charging. That winds up overcharging the battery. At some point, this battery starts to break down. I don't believe that's true anymore. I think that has been true in the past with some chargers, some batteries. Batteries and chargers, they don't all work the same. And I think it makes sense to me that the engineers designing laptops would design them so that they can intelligently moderate what's happening with the charging to produce the best results they can, because they want people to have the best experience possible with their products. So if you leave a car battery plugged into a charger that is not designed as a trickle charger, I think you're going to have that problem. But in laptop world, I think they've probably engineered around that, so we don't have to do that ourselves. I got a video door cam because someone did a hit and run in front of my house. We were able to arrest the driver of that truck. The police, if I could help. Oh, Kinder Barbecue. Thank you for asking, Ken Stout.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So where is it on this list? Ah, Kinder Barbecue Sauce.
Number 5.
I have a new sponsor. Kinder Barbecue Sauce. This is the hot barbecue version of Kinder's Barbecue Sauce. One of our own in this community, Josh Kinder, playing around in his Aunt Mary's kitchen, came up with a recipe for this. And they are now a sponsor of this channel and are making mounds and mounds of money for me. The last 2 minutes of this show has been total lies.
You should have waited till April 1st for this.
Oh, well, I saw this in the grocery store yesterday, and my favorite barbecue sauce I haven't been able to find on my last several shopping trips, which was Papa's barbecue sauce. And I was walking down an aisle, and this caught my eye. I thought, whoa, are you kidding me? Kinder's barbecue sauce, and it is actually, over here is a picture of John Kinder, and I'm assuming he pronounces the name Kinder rather than Kinder. Don't know that for sure. Josh, is this your Uncle John? All right, so that was Kinder barbecue sauce.
Moving on.
Moving on. rolling.
That was good. That was a good one.
Okay, no wonder roasted barbecue. They had a roasted version of this barbecue sauce, I think. Yeah, it seems to me, I think they had a roasted version. So roasting Josh Kinder. Where was I at? Well, I am planning to end on time today because I have an appointment. This is a little bit more on these iPads. The reason why I still have them. Oh, and if you thought that thing was confusing about the Apple account, he bought these iPads with cellular service. The old iPads both had cellular service as well. So that means when they're out on the road, they have internet connection through cellular service. So when he bought these, he told them not to set them up. I'm going to have my guy set them up, which he thinks of as me. Well, I went back and looked at my records because he says I set up the cellular service before. Well, I got records in 2015 and 2019 for setting up his iPads. The laptops was 2019. I had 2 different dates of iPads that I've worked on in the past for him. Well, when I went back and looked it up, it turned out the last time I worked on iPads for him, he gave me the person that he was working with in the Verizon store. And I called that person, and that person helped me get them set up to the Verizon account. And so when I realized that, I thought, oh my gosh, what's the chances that that guy still works for Verizon? So I called my client back and explained that to him, and he says, "Oh, well, I'm friends with him. He's a personal friend of mine, and yes, he does still work at Verizon." So he told me that I can call him. He gave me the guy's personal cell phone. So I left the guy a message on his voicemail, and I also sent him a text, figuring that strange phone number calling his cell phone, he might not even listen to the message, because I don't. And so so I'm in communication with him. I have an appointment with him at 1:30 today. So that's why I want to finish at normal time, 1 o'clock today, to work remotely on these. But the other complication is that the Verizon account was originally set up by this client, but since then we have added other cell phones and other iPads within his company to that same account, and somehow they are sub-accounts under his account. And also my records indicate that I'm authorized on that account as a contact using an email address of DougBetts and then my client's domain name, because I actually have an email address on their domain name, which I never look at. So I've got these notes in my records of working on this iPad, that iPad, somebody else's account, somebody else's cell phone account, that are all somehow connected to the same Verizon account. When I was going through on the devices trying to set them up, it got to a point where it asked me, is this a personal account or a business account? And I figured, well, it's probably a business account since it's paid by the company and we have multiple different users on it. So it's probably a business account. I went down that path and it asked me some other questions that seemed completely, what did it ask? Something about the identification for that account. Oh, a password for that account, I think. And I went back looking for that and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find any kind of a username or password. So it's just like, grr. So hopefully this guy's going to be able to walk me through it. And I need to somehow get a better grasp on how to manage this, because what happens if that guy's no longer available? Am I going to be able to just call anybody at Verizon? And I need better handle on this. See, some technicians won't deal with the cell phones and iPads. They just do the computers. Where was I? What brought me onto that story? Oh, I guess just that I'm going to end this video live stream on time. All right, back to chat. Lion have battery management circuits that reduce the number of amps that the charger is supplying the battery. Doug, you get to sound like Leo Laporte. He spouts the same thing about engineers in the design of circuitry and everything involved. But look at what happens. By the way, a lithium-ion battery pack for a laptop typically has a charge cycle 300 to 500 times. But what happens is they fail to hold a charge. I don't know if that leads to a swollen battery. Well, I've had many of my own laptops that get to a point to where they'll no longer hold a charge, but not get swollen. Now, I have shown you my Surface, my Microsoft Surface, that did get a swollen battery. And I recently showed that to you as though that was new. And then I found a video on my channel from a year ago where I showed you that laptop with the swollen battery. Shows how often I use that laptop. So I discovered it swollen quite a long time ago. But that laptop, I did not keep it plugged in because that was made for, I carry that in a bag, go from desk to desk. I would run that battery down and back up. So it has a swollen battery. But other laptops where I kept them more stationary, I don't recall ever getting a swollen battery. Ken had grown over something. I didn't like that brand of sauce. I think they made one that was for diabetics, but don't quote me on that. I didn't think it was very tasty. I haven't tasted this yet. I guess Ken must have been groaning about my sponsor.
I think everyone here has already, just in the last 5 minutes, Googled Kinder's barbecue sauce, myself included, and they have multiple flavors, multiple sizes, and available at a store near you.
Oh, yeah, here we see. Yeah, these ones 0 sugar. This one didn't say 0 sugar that I noticed. I would have not bought it if that were the case. Total sugars, 13 grams. Includes 13 grams added sugars, 26%. So I'll get my sugar fix.
There's going to have to be sugar in there somewhere because of the sugar and the tomatoes and that they use to make it.
All right. Do those new iPads use eSIMs? I don't know.
eSIMs.
I'm thinking eSIMs is not an actual SIM chip. I see a little slot here that looks like the size of a SIM card. A little hole next to it. I don't think that is for a SIM chip. Some reason I think that's not. I would probably be able to see that on the device somewhere, right? So I'm starting it up. Not reading these all out loud until I see something. Doug, you never seem to have problems with your Fortnite live streams Sunday to Friday when I'm able to join you as a viewer. Perhaps the Fortnite server's at fault. Yeah, that experience that I had Thursday night, I think it was a problem on their end. I did a Google search to see if there was reported problems with Fortnite at that time, and they said no. The problems that were reported were different, unrelated. Hang on. And successfully unmuted. We do now have fantastic chocolates made sugarless. Remember back in the day when they were like motor oil, same thing's been going on for syrup. So on your solo game in Fortnite, yeah, I haven't had troubles with Fortnite on games that I streamed or recorded. Love Hershey's. I'm going to create a question to ask, being artificial intelligence to analyze the problem, give me a scientific answer as some type as to what causes battery swelling. Well, there's a good idea. Chat GPT. What causes battery swelling in laptop batteries? I've also had swollen cell phone batteries. Buildup of gas.
Yep. Don't let the smoke out.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to explore that. Typically caused by buildup of gas within battery cells, which leads to the expansion of battery casing. This phenomenon most commonly observed in lithium-ion batteries, which are widely used in laptops and other portable. There are several factors that can contribute. Okay, so then, since I'm already on the subject, I'm going to ask a qualifying question. How can I reduce the likelihood that my battery will do that? I was going to say swell, but since we're talking on the subject of swelling batteries, it will understand that. Correct the spelling of likelihood. And then scroll down to see how it responds to that. To reduce likelihood, you can follow these guidelines. Use original or reputable chargers. Avoid extreme temperatures. Leaving in a closed car, which is something that I did a lot with my Surface. Charge conservatively. Avoid overcharging. Modern laptops devices are designed to stop charging once the battery reaches full capacity, but it's still good practice. Still good practice to unplug the charger once it's fully charged. Partial discharges. Prefer partial discharge cycles over full discharges. Avoid letting your battery completely drain before recharging it. It's better to recharge the battery when levels drop to 20-30%. Software updates. Avoid heavy usage while charging. All right, that makes sense. If you got the battery worn down, then plug it in, let it charge up without using it during that time. It's actually better to use your laptop regularly than letting it sit idle for extended periods. Batteries degrade over time. Using your laptop keeps the battery active and healthy. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. If you need to store your laptop for an extended period, make sure it's around 50% charged. Storing a fully charged or fully discharged battery for a long time can accelerate degradation. And that's interesting. Like my client lives in North Fork, spends 6 months in Netherlands. I could instruct him to discharge the battery to 50% just before leaving, then unplug the computer, shut it down, unplug it. That sounds like good advice. Be gentle with your laptop. Avoid dropping it. Don't use it as a weapon, maybe. Keep your laptop clean. Replace aging batteries. Oh, right. How can I better prevent my battery from swelling? Well, replace aging batteries before it swells.
Okay.
Okay.
Replace aging laptops.
Replace aging self. An eSIM is an industry standard digital SIM that allows you to activate a mobile data plan on a network provider without having to use a physical SIM. I was suspecting it had to do something like that. Can you not simply move the SIM chips from one iPad to the new iPad? Interesting. Now that might have been a SIM slot, and maybe the device can use either. digital SIM or a physical SIM. I don't know where I'm going to look for this. This is feeling promising. Yeah, there's a IMEI. There's an IMEI number and a CS number and an EID number and an SEID. And I guess it'd be safer for somebody to do a search for this model iPad. It's an iPad Pro 11-inch 4th generation. So if somebody wants to search that and find out if they can use either or. Short answer time. Like your second question, very creative. Give you credit for that approach. Second question, was that referring to, where did it go? I think this, no, has to pop that chat. Oh, I took it off. Oh, it's over here. Second question. Question photo from Sin regarding disk management and nonsense. Oh yeah. We haven't gone there. We need to go there. Is Sin here? He usually shows up as the drunken troll. I don't think I've seen him. Maybe I'll save that for Monday. He usually shows up on the Windows Daily shows. So we'll save that for when he's here. 9 to 5 Mac. That's the iPad. Yeah, don't leave your laptop on the front seat in the sun. That's where I was leaving it. My Surface Pro. It was in the passenger seat in a laptop case. Number 8, I think, is what killed the battery on my older HP laptop. Crashes yesterday. I think those are probably separate points. I did speak about those. Now we're starting to learn some idiosyncrasies, the batteries. With cell phones that are unlocked, that is all you have to do with physical SIM cards. Yeah, that's the reason why if a person is a privacy concern, or if you're a secret agent, or if you're a criminal, you might want to buy devices with physical SIM cards. You did not hear that on this channel. Make sure you're using the right charger for your device, not all of them same wattage. You know what, I have heard people speaking on this subject going even further, saying it's not enough to have the connector that fits and the right output voltage and the right amperage, that they still want the actual manufacturer's provided charger. Now, some of them actually have a communication with the device, a smart communication, where the device that you're using and the charger communicate with each other. So it may be the case that that's how it tells the AC adapter to stop outputting amperage or voltage. So I haven't heard any of those people who are claiming that you need to use the authorized AC adapter from the manufacturer. They say don't use an aftermarket brand, but I've never seen them explain this is the reason for it, because there is a communication between the devices. That, in my mind, seems likely. Not just possible, but it seems likely that they would do that, because the circuitry in the device perhaps could throttle the charge that's coming to the battery, but if the device is designed for that function to reside in the AC adapter, then if you use some other device that has the right output voltage, outright output amperage, and the connector fits, you might be damaging your device with that. I don't know that to be true, but it seems likely to me.
Hey, Doug,
Yeah.
I want to show something. The clip broke on the phone cord.
Yeah.
You know the clip on the phone cord? This is a different one. This is a different wire, but so you know what I'm talking about, that clip. Look what I did for temporary. It has a rubber band around the whole modem,
Oh,
and then it's got a electrical tape wrapped around it too, so it holds it in.
all right.
I just wanted to show you that. Kind
All
of
right.
fun.
I think that is a
One way to fix it.
I think that is a manufacturer recommended technique, actually.
Rube Goldberg.
All right.
Well, I can order one on Amazon, but for some reason I don't get things the next day like everybody else does. So,
Yeah.
and I got Prime too, but they just don't.
See, Wintermute says iPad Pro 4th Gen is on the list I posted for eSIMs. I guess that's the link up here that I didn't go to. I didn't realize that that was about the eSIMs, which models have it. So it has eSIMs, but does it also allow for a physical SIM? Are you able to, is it an either or? I'll let somebody else answer that in chat rather than reading through all that myself. Oh, Drunk Control is here. Hello, Sin. So we can go on to his question because I am pretty much caught up with chat. So Sin, we're going to go deal with the emails you sent. There's communication between battery management chip in the laptop and the battery. Between the battery management chip in the lap, there is a communication between battery management chip in the laptop and the battery. So that's not confirming a communication between the AC adapter and the circuitry in the laptop. Remember, the all-in-one with bad power port, the connector had an additional pin. Oh, the connector had an additional pin. So that sounds like an additional pin beyond what the port had. Not sure. Improved your setup, I see, from Ken to Chris. It's time to learn how to create a new connector on your Ethernet cable. That was a RJ11. I think that was a phone cable, not an Ethernet. RJ45 for Ethernet, RJ11 for a phone jack.
It's actually a phone data cable, especially for modems.
All right.
It's a little thicker than a regular phone cable.
Oh, really? All right. But is it still the same RJ11 jack? Do you know? With four conductors? All right. eSIM or nanoSIM. So I think this is Wintermute saying it can do the eSIM, which is the electronic SIM, or nanoSIM, which I assume is the physical SIM. The little locking clip on it, Ethernet cable usually won't break if you squeeze it. Can hold it firmly and pull it out from the socket. I've had some of those where it's really tough to push them down because sometimes the tip bends down too easily, so you got to push it down back where the wing is on the clip, and depending upon the jack that it's plugged into, it can be really difficult. I've had to use some kind of tool to reach in there and depress it. And then of course sometimes also it won't pop up enough to hold itself in, and then you bend it up and wind up breaking it. What he did works.
I'm always breaking it.
Yeah. Long Dog, there are some Ethernet cables that have a protective cover over them. They're kind of problematic. Yeah, they're hard to disconnect too. The cover can cause interference and the lack of feel for when the little clip is depressed. There's drugs available for when the clip is depressed. No. Visit Walgreens, Walmart. They all sell Ethernet cables. Not all iPads have SIM support. My 5th generation was explicitly purchased. Okay, I need to go on to Sin's questions. Let's go get to it.
Number 2.
Yeah, I'm going to get to his email.
Oh,
There are a couple more emails from him. Let's see. His emails do not reveal his email address. So here he says, disk management, the subject line says free space percent. Disk management gives free space percentages. Are they real? All partitions are claimed to be 100% free, and usage still does not make sense. 98% of downloads were loaded to drive C, so I would drive D. Seem to have just a little bit more free space than the Samsung 970. So the Samsung is the C drive, because he's saying the D drive has a little more space than the Samsung. Okay, so the Samsung is the C drive, which we've seen before. Yeah, because it was the Sabrent that he removed, couldn't boot to the Samsung drive. Then the next email 2 hours ago, disk management might show the EFI system partition and recovering partition as 100% free. However, these partitions store critical files that your PC needs to operate properly, and the partitions are generally nearly full. It's recommended to not modify these partitions in any way. Now, this is not Sin's writing. This is something he found. His subject line says found this. So he did a copy and paste from somewhere in response to the prior question. Now, let me go grab the photo that he sent that this question is based upon. I'm starting to get a little loony here. Where did I put that? I know where I put it. Now I just need to see it. What did I call that weekday show? Oh, Windows Daily. Why is it not showing up there? It's got to be here. There. Bookmarks. Okay. Disk management. Yeah, this is the one that he sent regarding this question. So the first email he sent, I think he realized something, that he was saying that they're all the partitions are showing 100% free. Well, not quite. These are disk 0 partition 1, disk 0 partition 4, disk 1 partition 1, disk 1 partition 4 are all showing 100% free. The C drive showing 60% free, and the D drive showing 67% free. And he said that all the downloads were, let's get back here. The downloads were to which one? The downloads were to drive C. So drive C has less percentage free than drive D. They're both approaching 2 terabytes in space, in size. But when I first looked at the email, he said that downloads were to drive C, but he didn't tell me, well, what's on drive D? So the fact that there's more free space on D than C was irrelevant to me, because I don't know what's stored on D. And we do see a difference in capacity and free space. There's less, numerically speaking, there's less free space on C than D. That corresponds with the percentages. So I'm not sure I quite understood the question here and didn't have enough information. But what I noticed here, and I referred to in my list of topics as an anomaly, is these partition numbers. Disk 0 has partition 1 and partition 4. We look down here at disk 0. So partition 1 is this 100 megabytes, and that confirms to here. It's claiming that the entire space is free, but according to that copy and paste, it explained that, yeah, but that is mostly full, and we can't see disk management doesn't accurately reflect that. But my question is, well, what happens to partitions 2 and 4? So here's partition 1, here's partition 4, and then here's the C drive. Is that partition 2 or 3? And whatever answer is, where's the other one? So that partition is also not visible here. Now, when you go look at disk part, can you actually see 4 partitions? I think you do. Then the other thing we see here is disk 1 has also the same weird symptom as partition 1 and partition 4. Down here we see 3 partitions. And I'm sure some of you already know the answer to this, and I've never seen this. I would never need to care about this in the work that I do, right? Now here's the EFI partition on his disk 1. His boot partition was on here. So this is the, when he removes the Sabrent, this is the Sabrent, and this is the Samsung. When he removes the Sabrent, he's no longer able to boot on the Samsung because the EFI partition is not available. He told us that he restored, I think it is the EFI partition to this drive, but this screenshot is not showing us that. So, as far as his original question, I don't think I can address that, because this thing about all the partitions claim to be 100% free, I think he's already realized that there's only 2 partitions on each disk that claim to be 100% free, not the C drive and the D drive. 98% of the downloads were downloaded to C drive. Why would D drive seem to have a little more free space? Well, I don't know what's on the D drive. So I can't address that. There's apparently content there, because up here it shows, looks like what, 700, 600 some odd gigabytes in use on the D drive. All right, gadgets, 50-foot let's see, we're at 1252. AC adapter does not communicate with the battery directly. No, not the battery, the motherboard, the circuitry on the motherboard. I don't expect the AC adapter to communicate directly with the battery. That process is handled by battery management chip. Yeah, in the laptop. It controls the flow of DC to the battery from the AC adapter. So does the battery management chip actually tell the AC adapter from the manufacturer of the laptop, does it give it any instructions? Phone scoop. Oh, here's nano SIM. Okay, so the word nano SIM does mean a physical SIM card. Thank you. The clip broke. That's why I put a rubber band around. I'm not above using that technique in a pinch. I could make so many comments. I'm glad you kind of mentioned what I want to convey. Most chargers are not that sophisticated. There's no feedback loop. Most of them. If anybody does communication between the device and the charger, I would think that would be Apple that would do that kind of thing. And they are very, very insistent that you use their chargers. But I'd like for them to tell us the reason. How it's done, sensing the voltage from the battery being charged as the voltage rises, it will curtail the current. I have the tools, but people would rather me do what Chris did till they can find the money to replace it. Yeah, I have the tools with me, but I'd rather just put in another cable rather than replace the RJ45 plug. I also have jacks. I have wall jacks with me. And I'm only going to use them in a pinch if I really, really need to, and I've had to. That's why I carry them. You can prove this by buying USB voltage adapter and monitor the amperage and voltage using USB connector. You'll see that it's voltage dependent. I do have a USB voltage monitoring device. I very rarely use it. But more sophisticated battery setups like an RV or solar panel backup battery systems. This is where we get a little more feedback from the batteries and what's going on. I tried changing the ends on the Ethernet cables. I cannot do it. I may try again. That's a bit of a skill. Take some practice. I can change coax cable. For some reason, I cannot do phone and Ethernet. It's the little wires I cannot get. And that's from Chris. Yes, I do know about the tropical storm remnants, Matthew. Changing now. Actually, one of the things that you guys haven't asked about, Doug's high-risk adventure tomorrow. Nobody's asked about that. Oh well.
He's gonna build an Ethernet cable.
Nope. I guess I'll move on because nobody's asked about that.
That's the adventurous Doug. We're talking to the inquisitive Doug right now.
Is
So
that it? A lot of times Ethernet is sufficient to do a lot of things like the crimper. Anyway, it's fun to play with. The ESP and recovery partition are marked as special partitions, so Windows doesn't see their content, Windows can't see the content of the EFI partition, but it still sees that the partition exists. Hence, they're reported as 100% free. Okay, he's answering why they're reported as 100% free, because Windows can't see their content. That's a really good, obvious reason. Like, kind of, duh. Short runs of normal Cat 6, no real significant difference. This part will show partition 2, which is the 16 megabyte MSR partition. The 0 part 1 being raw is concerning. Is it though? Normally, partition 1 would be an EFI partition, but he's incorrectly got the EFI on the second disk, on disk 1. So I figured that's why it's raw.
You can use a partition program like I'm doing right now, and you can view the contents of the system partition. The files.
All right. All right.
You might want to leave it alone, though. You might not want to mess with anything.
Yeah, I would think don't mess with it.
Or that will create a problem for you to fix then, Doug, if I delete something. You said you need more problems.
Yeah. All right. I was hoping for real problems, not manufactured problems. Acer laptops have a habit of having 2 partitions. The plug for AC adapter has only 2 wires, positive and negative. There's no way to create a feedback loop concerning temperature or data. Well, some of the AC adapters use Type-C, USB Type-C cables that plug into the laptop. They have more than 2. They can have more than 2 wires. So I disagree with that, Lawn Dog. I think most AC adapters, that ones that don't have any communication, are only going to have positive and negative. When they have a barrel connector, that only has a positive and negative. But when they plug into a Type-C, no, that's or a lightning cable, or the older iPad chargers that have that really wide connector. Yeah, no, there's more than 2 wires. And Apple has had those for a long time. 2 partitions, 100% is not real. Right, 100% is not real because Windows can't see the content of those partitions. I do not like making a partition for storage or backup. If the drive fails, you lost data anyway. Well, I will do a backup on a partition on the same drive that has the C drive for many of my clients. I won't do that for myself, but I'll do that for my clients because we don't store data on their C drives, and it's just a convenient way to restore if we have a problem on the C drive And I can do that restore remotely. I could even, now sometimes I do install a second drive and store the image there. But I've had a lot of times where I have saved the day for my clients because remotely I can create a second partition on a 1 terabyte drive when they're using less than 100 gigabytes of their C drive. And I can set up an automatic timed backup on that second partition, and I can create all of that remotely without having to go there and open up the computer and put in a separate drive. Now, if the drive physically fails, then I might lose that backup. And that's okay. I just put in a new drive and rebuild from scratch. So that's the scenario where it is justifiable to do a backup on a partition that's on the same drive as the C drive. But that's not something for everybody in every situation. Okay, I will ask about Doug's high-risk adventure. Ken says, Doug going boating. Bingo, ding, 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 ding. Sounds like you're going out in the wilderness. Maybe you're on a cliff that could be dangerous. No. Parachuting, no. AC adapter capable of supplying. A little bit different animal, wires, barrel connector, barrel. Yeah. You guys know about my migraine issues. So this is a high-risk adventure likely to trigger a migraine. But
Back to Huntington? Back to Huntington?
No, this is at Bass Lake. Bass Lake, which this is where the Sunday house is. I don't remember if I've told you yet, but I have another client's home that I'm spending overnight on Saturday nights and through Sunday. It's at Bass Lake, and this will be my my second overnight tonight. And I did a couple of, I see Carrie live, thank you. Tony. So the way this came about is my daughter sent me a text suggesting, hey, it's between our summer activities for my daughter and my grandson before school. We're going to take a break. How about we go to the coast or do something for fun? And since I was going to be up at Bass Lake, I said, well, how about if I rent a party barge? And we go out on a party barge on Sunday.
Whoa.
And so we were working towards that, and I discovered, well, party barge, the 18-footers weren't available. I had to do a 20-footer or a 24-foot. I think even the 20 wasn't available. So the 24-foot is $575, minimum 5 hours. That's the shortest amount of time that you can rent it for. I thought, wow, 5 hours stuck on a party barge? I'm going to be bored, let alone my 10-year-old grandson. So I started looking around, and I see that, these ski boats is $270 for 2 hours. That's a whole lot more palatable. And then this other type of premium surf boat is $370 for 2 hours. It has more adjustments, more features where you can make a bigger wake so you can actually surf on the wake. So what we wound up doing is this 2 hours for this ski boat. Now I grew up water skiing and snow skiing, but the current status of my body, no way. I'm not going out on skis. I'm not going out on a kneeboard. I'm not going out on a surfboard. But to go drive around in this boat for a couple hours, my grandson's going to kick out of that. Now, he doesn't even know how to ride a bicycle. I tried teaching that, but he does do what's that motorized battery wheel where there's a wheel in the center and two things you stand on. He's pretty good at that. So he might go out on one of the boards, but just bouncing around in the boat is likely to trigger a headache for me. So I figured if that happens, we'll just go back to the shore. I'll get off and my daughter will be signed as a driver. She's 43 years old. I'll give her a little coaching on driving the boat because she hasn't driven a boat before as far as I know.
Just take some Dramamine.
Dramamine doesn't help for my headaches.
Oh.
No.
Bottle of
So-
rum.
Nope, that's where that triggers. Yeah, alcohol triggers headaches, so that's not going to do it. But I have been getting better. And I figured my theory is, if I find fun things to do like this hiking stuff, get something fun to do physically, and maybe I can improve my condition more. So anyway, it's a way for me to dangle a carrot out in front of me. To around Fresno exercising, I just hate it. There's nothing, and it's a struggle to do exercising around here. So that's part of what's going on with the hiking adventures, because I enjoy that. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah, there are enough live fests. They have up to 10 people allowed on a boat. There's only going to be 3 of us. All right, I think we're done here. Time
We
to sign
expect
off.
video.
Yeah, we're going to try to do a little bit, not too much, because I'm going to try to focus on enjoying the experience. But we'll do some kind of pictures or video a little bit anyway. Probably going to be a trailer. So we'll probably be appearing as a trailer.
Ooh.
All right, Chris says he's still here watching on YouTube. Boating is fun, but be safe. Maybe that storm will want to move your way. I think we're probably going to be okay with that. All right. William and Brian, will you say goodbye to the audience, please?
Goodbye to the audience,
Next time.
please.
Same time, same bat channel.
All right. And they're off. I'm ending the Zoom meeting. There's my email address if you'd like to send a question for me to respond to, or trouble that you're having with your computer. You can do that. Those responses will come during a Monday through Friday Windows Daily, also next Saturday. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye. Oh, wait a minute. Blur the screen. Greg M. Right. Let's blur the screen. I've already shut down. I'm going to bring, I'll bring Zoom. I'll open Zoom up again. You guys can come back in if you want to. So I'm reopening Zoom. Then we're going to try blurring the screen and see if that's going to crash the live stream. All right. Here's, let's see. I got to fix this to show the right panel. Okay, there's my image. So I'm going to try blurring the background. Video settings. Let's see. Can I show? If I go, instead of showing you Zoom, I'll show you that monitor. That way you should be able to see me make these choices. So come down here to the video menu, choose video settings. All right, here's William back. Thank you. And then go to, let's see, video. Where was that at again? Team chat, audio, video, turn off, enable sharing. Oh, blur my background right here.